Namaskaram, this is Sangeeta Laura Biagi and thank you for tuning in. Today I will be sharing a sequence of Nada Yoga practices from the Parampara of Yogamaharishi Dr. Swami Gitananda Giri, Guru Maharaj ki. I have learned these practices from Puduvai Shakti Yogacharini Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani, Yogacharini Devasena Bhavanani, as well as my Acharya and Guruji, Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani. And these practices were compiled by Dr. Nanda and myself during our Nada Yoga Immersion online course, a 6-month course. And they are inspired by Swami Gitananda's fourfold relaxation. We know that it's very difficult to attain, maintain, become aware of a state of relaxation, a state of balance, in which we don't hope for the stressors of life to disappear. On the contrary, we become aware of those stressors and then apply some of these practices to regain a sense of balance and harmony. The real gift, one of the many real gifts of yoga, is to receive the tools and the wisdom of these practices to manage our stress levels and develop a yogic bhavana, like a yoga bhavana, a yoga drishti, a type of attitude that will allow us to catch those animalistic reactions when they spring up, so that they don't take over and then create problems in our lives and the lives of others. So in the Yoga Step by Step, Swami Gitananda's fourfold relaxation, lesson 29, he describes and teaches us that there are 4 layers. It's like peeling off the layers, but they're also all interwoven at the same time. The first one is letting down. Letting down, he writes, is to deal with one's barriers to the needed advice and help, to let down one's prejudices and preconceived ideas and notions about people, things and ideas, to let down these false notions, materialistic idolatry that we have built up. And most of all, to let down from the god of tension. The god of tension, right, that we so all feel, and sometimes really, sometimes we really think that being tensed and productive and stressed out is a quality, but actually it's, while some stress is important in our lives, feeling constantly stressed out is very detrimental. So the first one is this letting down and leave off all fears and anxieties. Leave off all fears and anxieties and gain a positive attitude towards yourself and others. This sentence right here is a key. Leave off fears and anxiety and gain a positive attitude. Not always easy, very difficult sometimes, but with these practices, step by step, we can come closer to at least to be able to regain some ease. Finally, Swamiji says, cultivate the desire for right action when action is called for. So this is the first one, letting down. The second one is giving up. One has to want to give up the stresses and strains that beset them. One has to want to give them up. This does not mean a surrender or a defeat. This giving up is to throw off any weaknesses which tend to build up the tension, and to give off or let off those foolish tensions that oftentimes turn us into a smoking volcano. So this is very interesting. The first time I read this, I was really struck by it. Giving up, throwing off weaknesses which tend to build up tension. Throwing off the weaknesses. What a wonderful teaching. We think that someone is inherently weak or strong, but Swamiji suggests that we can throw them off, the weaknesses. So we're going to practice that. The third one, so the first one, letting down, second one, giving up, third one, giving in. So first we give up the tensions, and then we give in to the higher mind. To give in the yoga concept of relaxation is to give in to the dictates of the inner mind, the higher consciousness. This is a positive process. There is no negation of or abdication of positive actions. Swamiji repeats this because giving up and giving in are often in English combined with the sense of defeat and surrender. One has to take up an inner life study to understand what it really means inwards to give in to the inner self. In the beginning, it is an intellectual process, highly exciting, but as we move into the practice more and more, we travel beyond the intellectual and even to a transcendental state. That's what Swamiji says. So, repeating, letting down, giving up, giving in, and lastly, but not least for sure, giving over. The giving over of the control of the higher mind. So this higher mind, this focus on consciousness, are still an action that we do willingly, right? Based in our ego choice to create a positive action. Ultimately, even this desire needs to be given over. And so this is the highest and last stage of fourfold relaxation. This is where the highest attainments of relaxation are achieved, where one can merge into beautiful superconscious higher states of which we are aware. But no words can describe. Giving over represents the peak of fulfillment. So these are the teachings that, as usual, Swami Gitananda has a very inclusive, clear way to describe his practices. But as we know, it is sometimes very difficult, one, to truly understand them, and even more to have the strength, the courage, the focus, the flexibility to incorporate them into our daily lives. And so with Dr. Nanda and the Sangha of the Nada Yoga Online Immersion, we decided to create a video of practices that were inspired by these teachings. So the first one is the letting down of the preconceived ideas and all that. Well, first of all, when it comes to sound, sometimes these preconceived ideas come up as inner voices or thoughts or beliefs. Some people are visualizers, so for some of you they may come as a vision, for some of you they may come as a memory or as an expectation of future actions. But a lot of times we can hear those voices, we can feel the effect that they have in our bodies. So the first step in this fourfold relaxation will be to regulate the breath through a Sukha Pranayama, very simple Sukha Pranayama, breathing in, breathing out on counts of 6 for 9 rounds, just like that, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. So that's the first stage. In the second stage, when we decide to give up all of the anxieties and weaknesses, we're going to do the Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika. I did this gesture because as soon as I say Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika, I immediately think about the action that goes with it. So in the Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika, we are going to shake our limbs and catch the negative voices and thoughts and expectations and memories that we have focused on earlier, catch them and release them through the mouth with a whooshing sound, shh, or whoosh, or sha, whatever sound feels good to you. We're really letting them go. Just as a reminder, these practices are very strong, and so if for some reason we are practicing them with other people, which will be very good, or even if we're teaching them to other people, it is highly encouraged not to throw these negative thoughts towards another person or a picture, or even direct them to people. That's really not what this is about. Okay, what this is about is I become aware, I become responsible, I catch whatever my psychic field is bringing up, and then I give it up. So very good to throw out of the window or up to the sky or down to the earth, because our beautiful planet and our atmosphere can absorb plenty of our negative thoughts, especially when we want to offer them so that we can do good on this planet. Okay, so the third one after the Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika, the giving in of the mind to the inner mind, we are going to work with the Shabdha Pratyahara. In the Shabdha Pratyahara, we develop this sense of deep listening, inner and outer landscape. And then lastly, the giving over, sorry, as soon as I said deep listening, some sounds happened here. Okay, then lastly, the giving over, this offering of even the inner mind to something greater. We will be practicing the Pranava Om. So we will be receiving the blessings of this mantra, of all mantras, the japa of the Omkara. Okay, so we'll begin with an invocation of the Guru Gayatri, and then commence. Thank you for following and thank you for listening. So take up a sitting position that is comfortable for you. I'm now sitting on a chair, but you can sit on your mat on the floor. If you're not able to sit, you may also do some of these practices reclining or laying down. There's no limitation on how these practices can become part of our lives, depending on where we are in our physical, emotional, mental bodies. Okay, so let's begin. Tatparam paryaya vitmahi Jnanalingeshwaraya dhimahi Tanno Guruhu prachodayate. Om Yogamaharishi Dr. Swami Gitananda Giri Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Om Yogacharya Puduvai Shakti Puduvai Ammaji Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani Guru Mata ki Jai. Om Yogacharya Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani Guru Mata ki Jai. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Very good. So let's commence by breathing in and out through the nostrils. And begin by feeling your body here, the physical body, the physiological movement of energy inside your body. And observe if you're holding any unnecessary tension in your body, perhaps in your eye muscles, the brow muscles, cheeks, lips, back of the neck, throat. We will practice together 6 rounds of Sukha Pranayama in a 6x6 time pattern. So exhale to prepare. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. Exhale. 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 Very good. Now you may open your eyes and let's do a couple of rounds of rolling of the head very slowly. Yes, you may inhale as you come up and exhale as you bring your head down. See if you can keep your shoulders relatively relaxed and in one posture so that you may only use the muscles of the neck, lips relaxed, tongue relaxed. Very good. Shake your head a bit. And then roll the head to the right as you inhale and to the left as you exhale. Do this slowly so you can feel what's there. Without judgment, without fear. Good. And then from here, bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Breathe and relax both shoulders. And then inhale, come up. And exhale, come to the other side. Just as a reminder that warming up the body a little bit after gaining a sense of breathing pattern. So we do the breath at first so that already we communicate with our body and brain that we are about to do some practices for our health. Okay, and then these warm-up practices can depend on how much time we have and also the context in which we are. But it's good, so you can roll your shoulders now. And it's good to always take a moment to really check what is there, okay? Because most of us have been used to not check in, okay? And to think that this level of stress that we carry in our bones and in our muscles and in our psyche are just the normal. They're not normal. Okay, so it takes a moment to just check in, okay? All right, now take your right hand, put it on your right knee, and as you spiral up, so your buttocks are both on the chair, and you can imagine you have a string pulling you up, you have an energetic channel pulling you up, just gonna slowly from the bottom of the trunk twist until the last is the head. The eyes look up towards the sky or the ceiling. Breathe. Slowly untwist. Always stay grounded with your breath and thanks to your breath. And we're going to practice this the other side. Wonderful. Okay. And come back. So we're then going to do one more warm-up, which is the Spanda Nishpanda from a chair. So in the Spanda Nishpanda, we are first contracting the body completely and then we're fully releasing the tension, okay? So from the feet all the way to the top of the head, okay? So as you inhale, contract, contract. And as you exhale, relax. Do it 2 more times. The whole body is contracting. Feet, calves, knees, thighs, buttocks, abdomen, knees, shoulders, arms, throat, face, and relax. And 1 more time. And lastly, the Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika. So before we do the Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika, let's go back to the Sukha Pranayama for a moment. Inhale and exhale. Now you may use a count that fits you. 4 by 4, 6 by 6, 5x5, 8x8. Now bring to your awareness a challenge, an actual challenge from your life, a mental challenge, any fear, any weakness, anything that embarrasses you, anything that worries you. We are not judging these. We are not saying that we shouldn't be having the stressors or we shouldn't be having these negativities. They are part of our growth, okay? We just want to bring them to the awareness. And now we may open our eyes and begin to shake this area around us, the Pranamaya Kosha around us. The Pranamaya Kosha is larger than this, but it is definitely this too. It begins here, right outside of our bodies. So you can shake it, and shake as if you were catching what Amaji, I remember Amaji teaching this as the psychic cobwebs. It really stuck with me. So there's some under the legs, there's some in front of your tummy. See, check them out, okay? And then this negative thinking that you had just focused on, just catch it. Then inhale with your nose and release it. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale. And 1 more time. Relax. Letting down, giving up. Now we're going to give in. Now that these confusing thoughts and distracting and destructive thoughts have been released, their energy has been freed. And so we can find more quiet, and find more focus. Because as long as the destructive thoughts are there, there's so much intensity, there's a lot of stress. So we relax our brain like that, right? We have just given them up, and now we can give in. So begin by listening. For me, the giving in to the higher mind, the higher consciousness, is very linked to deep listening and sound personally, because it always begins here for me with listening. And of course, we begin by listening with our ears, but ultimately we learn how to listen with the heart. And that's really quite a gift of these teachings. So begin by listening with your heart and with your ears, if you can, under the control of the mind. So now the mind is quieter and is able to control its own flow rather than being distracted. So see and hear the heartbeat inside of you. If you are in a place like me with sounds, that's okay. We don't need to block them out. In fact, we will incorporate them. But learn to remember to listen to your heartbeat. There's a pulse, a rhythm. You may be able to hear the sound of that beating, or just perhaps the feeling of it. This is a sound that is unique. Only your heart beats in this way, with this specific sound. It's your drum. It's your sacred drum. Now listen to the sound of your breath. there's a very subtle sound in the breath, even before you constrict at the area of the throat. The sound of the inhalation through the nostrils has a very fine vibration. Relax, relax, relax. Breathe and listen. On the next exhale, we're going to begin to listen to the sounds that are just around your physical body. For example, in this room, I can perceive really close to my right ear a very high-pitched buzzing sound, perhaps of the electric system of this room. Also, I can hear a very high pitch coming from my own body. Stay present to the experience and avoid traveling to imaginary sonic landscapes. We're really listening to what the ears can perceive here and now in the environment just around us. So expand your skill to listen under the control of the mind to a larger environment. Perhaps for me, it's the full room I'm in. For you, just the environment around you. I would say 4 or 5 meters, or 4 or 5 feet. Um, 10, 15 feet. And we keep expanding, so now we're traveling even further out. For me, it would be the traffic outside of this room. Continue breathing regularly and notice any reaction that may come from listening or hearing particular sounds. Relax your brain, literally relax your brain. Try not to grasp and expand the listening ratio and radio out to a city block around you. Around you also means above and below. And then perhaps stretch it more to include your town or your village or the city. And then stretch your listening skill as far as you can. As far as you can, above, below, sides, front and back. And of course, inside. There's no grasping, no reaching for the sound. You're receiving it. You're relaxed, open, listening to the sounds of life, Shabda. The process of Pratyahara begins with the refinement of the senses. So the senses need to be stretched, practiced, refined, enjoyed. It took millions of years of evolution to create the ear as we know it today. Awareness is the path for that refinement of the capacity to perceive finer and finer vibrations. Now, as we have expanded fully and enjoyed our skill fully, we begin the process of Pratyahara, in which we withdraw. We withdraw the mind. We withdraw the mind back at ease and at will. So we are going to bring the listening skill back to a city around us, a county, a village, town. And then coming back, bringing the awareness back to a block, city block around us, above and below us. And then to our environment, a room, a hut, or wherever you are right now, just there. And then to the immediate environment around our physical body. And then the sound of our breath, inside, outside, and in between. And the heartbeat. And then bring your awareness in the bindu between your brows, the Bru Madhya Bindu. And continue listening. Notice the gentle capacity we now have to listen to more intuitive messages from the inner consciousness. This state of focus, ekagrata, and ease, sukha, of the mind space right now. We give in to the inner, higher mind by preparing to receive the blessings of such wisdom. Silence is so full of life. As Amaji teaches us, the sound of yoga is silence. We give in to it. Fully aware that in this silence, there are so many teachings for us, so much guidance and support. Relaxation and calm are here for us as a source springing from the ground. The last stage of the fourfold relaxation, giving over, is in sound in this particular sequence, combined with the chanting of the Pranava Om. There are other videos that guide us through the practice of the Vibhaga Pranava Pranayama to learn how to take a full Mahat Yoga Pranayama in the 3 sections of the lungs and chant the Pranava Om properly, adequately. But in this particular sequence, we will practice 9 rounds of Aum. We will bring our hands in the Brahma Mudra by our navel. We will inhale on counts of 6 and exhale for 6, O for 6, for 6. So the ratio is 6, 18. Exhale. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 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 In. 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 inhale and relax. You may gently relax the mudra, and we'll be here for a couple of minutes longer to witness ourselves and what is happening inside of us and outside of us. Bring our hands in Namaskaram now, and we'll conclude this sequence with the Lokha Samasta mantra. Lokha Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu Sarve Janaha Sukhinu Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. With deep gratitude to the Parampara for these wonderful teachings, and thank you so much for joining us. Namaskaram.